You grew up watching them. They were cute, charming, unforgettable. But time doesn't play favorites, and some of these former child stars look nothing like they used to. Would you even recognize them today if they walked past you? From dramatic weight shifts to aging that shocked even their biggest fans, these transformations aren't just surprising, they're nearly unrecognizable. Think you can handle the full list? Well, here are 21 shocking examples of child celebs who aged really badly. Number 21. Taylor Momsen. She was the wide-eyed girl who believed even the Grinch had a heart. At just 7 years old, she became part of a holiday tradition. But behind those Christmas lights and soft melodies was a future no one could have predicted. By the time she was a teenager, she was back on screen.
I'd like to welcome you and say thank you for visiting our little school where, until now, it seems like nothing exciting ever happened.
Gossip Girl gave her a new spotlight. This time, she wasn't Cindy Lou Who. She was Jenny Humphrey, ambitious, stylish, and growing darker with every season. But then, something shifted. By the time she was written off the show, it was already clear. Taylor Momsen was done pretending. She didn't fade away. She detonated. Trading scripts for stages, she stepped into a new role. The screaming lead singer of the Pretty Reckless.
What's music done?
It's a newer way for people to see me as. I get that, but...
Leather, boots, black lipstick, and a voice that cut like glass. No more sweet girl next door. She had burned that image to the ground. Was it rebellion, reinvention, or finally becoming who she had always been? Critics didn't know what to do with her, but she didn't care. She wasn't asking. Years later, she is still touring. And if you look closely, you'll barely recognize the little girl from Whoville. Number 20. Amanda Bynes. She was the girl who could do every voice, every character, every punchline, and make it look effortless.
Hey!
Hey! What up? You must be my roommates.
On The Amanda Show, Amanda Bynes wasn't just another Nickelodeon star, she was the network's crown jewel. Funny, fearless, and fast-talking, she became a household name by the time most kids were still figuring out middle school. By her teens, she had made the jump to big-screen comedies, nailing roles in What I Like About You, Big Fat Liar, and She's the Man.
That is, and you stick right in. It absorbs right up.
Oh my God, your roommate's a freak.
And then, without warning, she stopped. In 2010, Amanda retired from acting, and the headlines changed overnight. What followed was a whirlwind of arrests, hospitalizations, cryptic tweets, and haunting public meltdowns. The girl who once had perfect timing on screen now seemed completely out of sync with the world around her. Her look changed, her smile faded, and the media, once obsessed with her charm, fed on her chaos.
Amanda, how was it?
But under the noise, Amanda was fighting against addiction, trauma, and the pressure to stay the person everyone remembered. She pulled back from the spotlight, focused on her mental health, and started trying to build something private, something safe. No more cameras or characters, only healing. Amanda Bynes may not be the teen queen she once was, but in choosing peace over performance, she's telling a story that matters even more. Number 19. Dustin Diamond. He was the weird one, the loud one, the guy everyone laughed at, but no one really knew.
Sorry I'm late. I was developing pictures in my darkroom.
They're for Robot Illustrated. I'm Hunk of the Month.
For years, he lived in your living room, cracking jokes as Screech on Saved by the Bell. But the laughter didn't follow him home. Dustin Diamond joined the show as a kid, much younger than the rest of the cast. On screen, he was a fan favorite. Off-screen, he was the odd one out. The age gap made things awkward, and the distance never quite went away. Still, Screech became one of the most iconic characters on television.
How long have you been doing it?
I'm an idiot. They told me that the top of the showbiz pile ends in stand-up, so here I am.
When the show ended, Dustin didn't land on his feet. Acting roles stopped coming in. Out of options and out of cash, he did something nobody expected. He filmed an adult video, hoping it would get attention, maybe even money. What it got was backlash. He gained weight, joined Celebrity Fit Club, and left after a violent outburst. Then came the book, a tell-all that called out his former castmates. Whatever friendships he had left were destroyed. Then it got worse. A bar fight ended in a stabbing. He was arrested, convicted, and thrown back into the spotlight for all the wrong reasons.
Dustin Diamond, well, he was in jail accused of stabbing someone in a Christmas Day bar fight.
But no matter what happened in his real life, people never stopped remembering Screech. The awkward teen, the bright shirts, the high-pitched voice. He was unforgettable, and that's the tragedy. He built something timeless, but lived a life haunted by what it cost him. Number 18, Edward Furlong. He saved humanity before he even hit high school. When Terminator 2 premiered, Edward Furlong was just a kid with a slingshot, a scowl, and the weight of the world on his shoulders.
You're like a machine underneath, right? But sort of alive outside?
I'm a cybernetic organism, living tissue over a metal endoskeleton.
He became a star overnight. Everyone saw the potential. Directors lined up. Studios made promises. Furlong followed his breakout role with films like American History X and Detroit Rock City, proving he had the range to be more than just a one-time wonder. But the spotlight came with a price. Fame replaced his childhood. Pressure replaced support. As the roles got bigger, the damage ran deeper. Addiction came early. Arrests followed. His public image fell apart as fast as it had been built. He stopped being known for his movies and started being known for everything else. Court dates, rehab, headlines. His face changed, his body changed, and the industry turned away.
We were living in we were just doing the same thing every day. Just going to get drugs, coming back, getting high.
Still, he didn't stop working. He took smaller parts. He spoke about his past. He tried to rebuild. He didn't disappear. And even now, some people still remember him as John Connor. Not the addict, not the tabloid story, but the kid who stood in front of a machine and fought back. That version of Edward Furlong still lives in the minds of millions, waiting for a comeback that might still be possible. Number 17, Macaulay Culkin. You remember the traps, the aftershave scream, the wide-eyed kid outsmarting two grown criminals without breaking a sweat. For a while, he wasn't just a child actor. He was childhood itself. In the 90s, he ruled the screen. Home Alone made him a global sensation. My Girl, Richie Rich, The Page Master, he was everywhere. But then, he disappeared. What happens when the most famous child in the world decides he's had enough? The pressure had been building for years. Behind that perfect smile was a boy suffocating under a life he never chose. As his fame grew, so did the control from those around him. Eventually, he walked away from it all. Almost overnight, he went from golden boy to ghost. Years later, headlines would scream about his appearance. The sunken cheeks, the tired eyes. Drug rumors spread like wildfire. He was arrested for drug possession, and fans were left wondering if this was the same kid they once adored.
I always kind of felt that it was almost expected of me. I stayed away from it.
You never did drugs?
Experiment, but nothing serious.
But he didn't vanish for good. He turned to music, wrote strange, clever songs, made appearances on his terms. Slowly, he re-emerged with a quiet sense of control. He looked different, older, worn, scruffy, but there was something alive behind the eyes again. Because when you've had the world's spotlight before you hit puberty, stepping into the shadows might be the only way to survive. And somehow, through all of it, he's still standing. Number 16, Jeremy Miller. He was the kid with the perfect smile, the little brother who made you laugh during dinner scenes and family arguments on Growing Pains.
I think I should strike out in new directions.
Well, what you really have to do is find something that interests you.
But what happens when your charm starts fading before you even hit your 20s? Jeremy Miller became a familiar face in living rooms across the country. playing Ben Seaver with the kind of boyish energy that made him instantly lovable.
I'm down to my last man! Ben! What?
But behind the scenes, the spotlight was already drifting. Kirk Cameron had the teen idol status locked in. Then came Leonardo DiCaprio, young, intense, impossible to ignore. And in that growing crowd of fame, Jeremy started disappearing. His transition into adulthood didn't come with blockbuster offers or dramatic reinventions. He kept working, appearing in smaller roles, trying to stay in the game. But nothing matched the fame he once knew. He began drinking at a young age, and what started as coping turned into addiction.
After the show ended, Jeremy struggled with alcoholism.
The boy America watched grow up was now battling demons far from the cameras. But he didn't give up. He focused on recovery, leaned into family, and stepped back from chasing fame.
You get me behind the stove and it's like I'm just at perfect peace.
Number 15, Johnny Depp. He was the kind of actor you couldn't look away from, even when he barely spoke. The sharp cheekbones, the sleepy eyes, the drawl that made every line sound like a secret. Johnny Depp wasn't just playing characters, he was creating legends.
Vernon Williams, I promise. And it's okay about my face. It don't hurt much.
He made his name on 21 Jump Street, then turned heads in Cry Baby. And by the time Pirates of the Caribbean hit theaters, he had become the face of an entire generation of moviegoers. But behind the charm and eccentricity was a man unraveling. Depp started smoking early, then came alcohol, then drugs. As his characters got darker, so did his real life. His marriage to Amber Heard exploded in public view. People started noticing changes. The sparkle in his eyes dulled, his teeth yellowed, his weight shifted, his hair thinned. He didn't look like the rebel anymore. He looked like someone who'd been through war. Yet, even as his appearance faltered, the talent never vanished. 10 Golden Globe nominations, 3 Oscar nods, and a filmography packed with risks, reinventions, and raw emotion, he built a legacy few could touch. Number 14, Lark Voorhies. She was the stylish queen of Bayside High, the girl every teen wanted to be and every guy remembered. Lisa Turtle didn't just wear fashion, she was fashion. Lark Voorhies lit up the screen in Saved by the Bell with her quick comebacks, perfect outfits, and magnetic charm. While others on the show leaned into popularity tropes, Lisa was something different, effortlessly cool, sharp, and always one step ahead. But years later, the girl who once defined teen beauty became a mystery to fans who barely recognized her. The transformation was dramatic. Rumors swirled about plastic surgery. Speculation about drug use crept into headlines. Then came whispers of schizophrenia. And finally, Lark herself confirmed the mental health struggles that had long haunted her.
It does, and how it behaves and what it creates around and about it.
She stepped away from the spotlight, left acting behind, and quietly started her own production company, hoping to control her narrative. But the buzz never returned to what it once was. Number 13, Taran Noah Smith. He was the quiet kid at the end of the table, the one with big eyes and a soft voice who always seemed lost in the chaos of Home Improvement's high-energy cast. As Mark Taylor, Taran Noah Smith gave audiences a subtle kind of charm, the sweet, sensitive younger brother who often faded into the background but never went unnoticed.
What are you talking about?
The one who broke your flashlight. Don't you remember him?
At the time, he felt like the calm in the storm. But childhood fame doesn't always translate into a peaceful adulthood. As his co-star, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, became a global sensation, voicing Simba and gracing every teen magazine cover, Taran took a different path. He got married young, tangled in public disputes, and struggled with alcohol. There were lawsuits, headlines, and a growing sense that the spotlight was not just dimming, but burning out. Eventually, he left it all behind.
Too much, any crazy drug problems or anything like that. Or a lot of the kids we grew up around had problems.
He chose a life out of view, focusing on personal growth instead of chasing stardom. Fans still remember him, not for the controversies, but for the boy who felt real on a show built on punchlines.
It's former Home Improvement child star Taran Noah Smith. He played Tim Allen's youngest son on the popular 90s sitcom.
Number 12, Frankie Munis. He was the genius kid with 1,000 thoughts racing through his head, the boy who broke the fourth wall and made you feel like he was talking straight to you.
It's weird. I think I'm having a spasm. The muscles in my face keep pulling on my mouth. Oh, I think I'm happy.
In the early 2000s, Frankie Munis didn't just star in Malcolm in the Middle, he was the middle, the heart of a dysfunctional family that somehow made perfect sense. With quick wit, blue eyes that seemed to glow under studio lights, and comedic timing well beyond his years, Munis became one of the most recognizable child actors on television.
Yeah. Oh, for God's sake, where is he? He came here to see Baby. He's meeting her tonight. Oh my God, how'd she do that?
But fame has a strange habit of freezing people in time. As the world kept replaying Malcolm's greatest moments, Frankie was trying to move on, trapped by a role that was both a launch pad and a couch. Hollywood didn't know what to do with him, so he made a decision most stars wouldn't dare. He left. Drums, race cars, olive oil businesses. He tried everything.
Munis of the hit TV show Malcolm in the Middle fame, he will attempt to become a professional race car driver.
He was searching for something real, and while fans focused on his changing looks and wild hairstyles, few knew what he was really facing. Memory loss, mini strokes, brain injuries so severe he can barely recall filming the show that made him famous. The kid who once narrated every twist and turn of his fictional life can't remember the one he actually lived. Number 11, Cory Feldman. He was the cool kid with a mischievous grin, the one who always had the best lines in every 80s classic. Stand By Me, The Goonies, The Lost Boys, film after film. He gave audiences the kind of performances that didn't just entertain, they stuck with you. He was Hollywood's golden boy, often seen side by side with his best friend Corey Haim, together forming a duo that defined an era. But that era didn't last. The kid everyone thought had it all started carrying a darkness most never saw coming. As the years passed, Corey's looks changed. His energy shifted, and the heartthrob image faded into something far more complicated. Addiction, trauma, public meltdowns. He stepped away from acting and started speaking out, pulling back the curtain on the industry that helped create him. It took a toll. The fresh-faced teen turned into a man marked by pain, his face telling a story of years lost and battles fought. But he didn't disappear. He turned his past into a mission, speaking out, advocating, standing up for victims. Cory Feldman may no longer look like the icon from his movie posters, but in his own way, he's still fighting for something bigger than himself. Number 10, Shia Labouf. He wasn't supposed to be famous. Not with that wild curly hair, that twitchy energy, that look that made you feel like he was one bad idea away from blowing something up. But somehow, that chaos made Shia Labouf impossible to ignore. As Louis Stevens on Even Stevens, he was a walking firecracker. Unpredictable, hilarious, weird in the best way. And when he stepped off the small screen and into Transformers and Disturbia, he didn't just make the leap to movie star, he launched.
I don't like his face.
I don't like your face when we do business together. Okay, he won't have to fight. Teabag will have to fight.
But behind the scenes, something darker was unraveling. Arrests, court dates, rehab, erratic interviews. The headlines started coming faster than the scripts.
I had a gun on the table. I was out of here. I didn't want to be alive anymore when all of this happened, okay?
His clean-cut image vanished. In its place came scruffy beards, random tattoos, bulked-up weight, and clothes that looked like statements no one understood. People called it genius. Others called it a breakdown. But love him or hate him, Shia never faded. He turned his public unraveling into performance art. He wore a paper bag on his head.
Shia Labouf declaring I am not famous anymore in his latest bout of bizarre behavior.
He sat in a theater and watched every movie he ever made. He apologized, backtracked, and pushed forward. And somewhere in that mess, he found freedom. Number 9. Raven Simone. She went from sitcom kid to psychic teen to full-blown pop culture powerhouse before most of her peers finished high school. Raven Simone was the child star who never seemed to stumble, at least not on camera.
I'm really sorry about your friend Andrea. It must be really hard for you not to have your best friend around anymore.
She lit up The Cosby Show with a tiny voice and big confidence, then owned the 2000s as Raven Baxter on That's So Raven, turning Disney Channel into her personal playground. Every look, every catchphrase, every raised eyebrow became iconic. But when the cameras stopped,
Daddy, I'm getting hot! I know you're getting hot there, Dad's taking off the clothes.
the world didn't stay as kind. Her weight was picked apart. Her fashion was ridiculed. Her hair became a headline.
Everyone knows that I use it more as an accessory to enhance how I feel or how an outfit looks at that time, not necessarily does it boost my confidence.
And through it all, Raven refused to bend. She didn't chase Hollywood's approval. She created her own rules. Loud colors, bold choices, nothing filtered. People didn't always like Hamida. She didn't care. Then she took a seat on The View, and the kid who once read minds started speaking hers. Unfiltered, opinionated, sometimes controversial, and always watched. Number 8. Britney Spears. She was the girl in the school uniform who danced her way into history. From the first beat of Baby One More Time, Britney Spears didn't just top charts. She became a cultural explosion. Teen girls copied her look. Music videos turned into obsession. She wasn't just a pop star. She was the pop star. Her name meant sparkle, precision, and a kind of joy that felt impossible to fake. But fame, when it lasts too long, starts to rot. The glow started dimming. Behind the photo shoots and performances, real life was unraveling. A messy divorce.
Is speaking out, saying the two have now decided to end their journey together.
A brutal custody battle. The kind of public breakdown that wasn't just witnessed, it was consumed. Cameras caught everything, including the moment she shaved her head and looked into the lens with eyes that seemed completely alone. Her skin lost its glow. Her iconic blonde hair turned brittle. Makeup ran. Clothes clashed. The world that once adored her now watched from behind glass, like she was a museum exhibit called Fall of a Star. But Britney didn't disappear. She kept going, fought for freedom, spoke up, lost some battles, and won others. And through it all, millions still cheered for her. Number 7. Haley Joel Osment. He saw dead people and made the whole world shiver.
I want to tell you my secret now. I see dead people.
Haley Joel Osment wasn't just acting in The Sixth Sense, he was haunting it. With wide eyes and a soft voice, he delivered one of the most chilling lines in movie history, turning a whisper into legend. Long before that, he held his own next to Tom Hanks in Forrest Gump. And not long after, he stunned audiences again in AI artificial intelligence and Pay It Forward. He was the kid Hollywood couldn't stop praising. But childhood fame doesn't come with instructions. As he got older, roles dried up. The chubby cheeks disappeared, and in their place came a fuller face, thick beard, and eyes that looked tired in a way no teenager should ever have to explain. There were struggles behind the scenes, drinking, mistakes, arrests, and the public watched him grow up, only to wonder where he had gone.
Then Haley Joel Osment has dropped off the radar. Now he's been arrested for alleged public intoxication and possession of a controlled substance.
But Haley never vanished. He rebuilt, piece by piece, away from the spotlight, took on new characters, less glamorous, but more grounded. And now, years later, people don't just remember the boy who saw ghosts. They respect the man who survived being one. Number 6. Angus T. Jones. He was the kid who had the best seat on one of television's biggest shows, delivering punchlines right between Charlie Sheen's chaos and John Cryer's dry sarcasm. As Jake Harper on 2.5 Men, Angus T. Jones didn't just play the role, he owned it. His chubby cheeks, sleepy smile, and perfectly timed one-liners made him a fan favorite and one of the highest-paid child actors on TV. But at the height of it all, when most young stars would be cashing in, Angus did the unthinkable. He turned his back on Hollywood, publicly. In a speech that shocked fans and producers alike, he called the show morally wrong and urged people to stop watching.
Back in 2012, Jones called the show filth and urged people not to watch it.
The studio wrote him out. Viewers were stunned. Then he disappeared. Years later, when he returned briefly for the finale, people barely recognized him. The buzz-cut kid was gone. In his place stood a man with long hair, a full beard, and eyes that looked like they had seen too much. He found peace away from the cameras, far from the punchlines that once defined him. Number 5. Danny Bonaduce. He was the red-headed firecracker who brought attitude and energy to every episode of The Partridge Family, cracking jokes and stealing scenes with a confidence far beyond his years. Danny Bonaduce was a star before he hit puberty, adored by millions and seen as unstoppable. But childhood fame has a way of hiding its teeth. When the lights dimmed, Danny's world collapsed. Addiction took hold. Anger spiraled. He went from studio sets to sleeping on the streets, from teen icon to cautionary tale. At his lowest point, he was homeless, broke, and completely unrecognizable from the boy America had once cheered for. The damage showed in his face, his posture, his choices. His career faded, while his name resurfaced in tabloid headlines and chaotic reality TV moments. But even then, Danny never fully disappeared. He fought back, slowly, painfully, but publicly.
But things are different today. People are freer.
Danny, she's 20 years older than you are.
He rebuilt from scratch, finding stability behind a radio mic where the cameras couldn't follow. He spoke honestly about his demons, got sober, and began piecing together a life with structure and purpose.
This is no time for your jokes. I've never been more serious in my life.
Today, he looks older, wiser, and weathered. Fans who remember the bright spark of Danny Partridge still root for him, not because he stayed perfect, but because he refused to stay lost. Number 4. Brendan Fraser. He was the fearless adventurer who fought mummies, swung through jungles, and lit up the screen with a grin that made you believe he could survive anything. Brendan Fraser was the face of blockbusters that filled theaters and defined a generation. From The Mummy to George of the Jungle, he was charming, funny, athletic, and somehow still down to earth.
It is 19 till the hour. Brendan Fraser is one actor that parents and kids can agree on. They all love him.
But then, just as fast as he rose, he disappeared. Fans wondered where he went. The truth was far darker than anyone expected. Behind the scenes, Brendan was unraveling. Years of punishing stunt work left his body broken, requiring surgeries that kept piling up. A bitter divorce drained his finances. Depression crept in. And then came the revelation. A powerful figure in the industry had assaulted him, and the trauma had silenced him for years. Hollywood moved on without him, and his once bright light faded. His appearance changed. The movie offers stopped. But Brendan wasn't done. He returned, quietly at first, then with a roar. The Whale put him back where he belonged, in front of an audience that never stopped rooting for him. Tears flowed at standing ovations.
Mary has kept her from me all this time.
Why do you suddenly need to see her so bad? Why now?
Fellow actors embraced him. His name was back in headlines, not as a tragedy, but as a comeback. Brendan Fraser proved that even after the cameras stopped rolling, real strength doesn't fade.
Give time for me, a meditative time, a grateful time, humbling time in many ways.
It just waits for the right moment to rise again. Number 3, Josh Saviano. He was the awkward kid with the round glasses, the best friend who never quite fit in, but somehow became unforgettable.
And I was just saying the other day how dumb you look in contacts. Won't we, Paul?
As Paul Pfeiffer on The Wonder Years, Josh Saviano didn't need flashy lines or dramatic scenes. He was real, quiet, thoughtful, and just nerdy enough to be lovable. He was the glue that held the show's friendships together. And then, when the credits rolled for the last time, he vanished. No more auditions, no Hollywood hangouts, just silence. Fans speculated. Some swore he had transformed into Marilyn Manson, a rumor so bizarre it stuck around for years. The truth? Josh had chosen a different script, one with textbooks, law school, and courtrooms instead of scripts and sound stages. He walked away from fame and built a new life, one most former child stars wouldn't dare to imagine. Over time, his look changed. The gangly teen turned into a composed, sharp-suited attorney. No stage lights, no TMZ, just a steady, deliberate path away from the chaos of showbiz. Today, he runs a successful law firm, makes rare appearances, and occasionally dips back into TV on his own terms. Josh Saviano didn't fall from grace. He stepped off the stage and found peace, proving that you don't have to stay famous to matter. You just have to know when to move on. Number 2, Shaun Aston. He was the kid with the inhaler and the big dreams, the one who led a ragtag group through caves and booby traps in search of pirate treasure.
Going. I said booby traps.
You mean booby traps?
That's what I said, booby traps. Quiet.
As Mikey in the Goonies, Shaun Aston didn't just play the hero, he became one for an entire generation. His face was on posters, his quotes in lunchroom conversations, and his place in pop culture history sealed before he hit adulthood. But fame doesn't stay frozen in time. As Shaun grew older, the babyface gave way to something fuller, more grounded. The teen heartthrob look faded, but his career never did. Unlike so many child stars who vanished with age, Shaun evolved. He took roles in comedies like 50 First Dates and Click, dove into dark dramas like The Strain, and then came the role that changed everything again, Samwise Gamgee. In The Lord of the Rings, Shaun didn't just act, he delivered one of the most beloved performances in movie history. A loyal friend, a quiet fighter, a heart that never gave up. He won over a new generation, this time not with boyish charm, but with quiet power. Shaun Aston may look nothing like the kid from the Goonies, but he never needed to. He kept going, kept working, kept choosing roles that mattered. And in doing so, he proved that real staying power isn't about holding on to youth. It's about growing into something stronger. Number 1, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. They were the baby-faced twins who shared a crib on Full House and somehow stole the spotlight without saying more than a few words.
Where'd you get all this stuff?
At the zoo. I saw lions and tigers and bears.
Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen weren't just child actors, they were a phenomenon. Before they could drive, they had their own movies, their own merchandise, and a global fan base that watched them grow up in real time. But then, the lights dimmed, the smiles faded, and the bubbly energy they were known for turned quiet. Behind designer sunglasses and oversized coats, the Olsen twins re-emerged not as actresses, but as fashion powerhouses. Their brands, The Row and Elizabeth and James, earned millions and critical praise. But the transformation came at a cost. As they retreated from Hollywood, rumors swirled, stories of eating disorders, rehab, whispered breakdowns. Their appearances changed drastically. Thinner frames, somber expressions, style choices that felt more like armor than fashion. They rarely spoke. When they did, it was calculated, soft, almost cryptic. The once public twins had become private enigmas. Yet through that silence, they built empires. They stopped trying to be loved and started demanding respect. And in doing so, they proved something rare, that child stars don't have to crash to evolve. They can vanish, rebuild, and return on their own terms.
And you're just like such an amazing story. You're like just so successful, and what an amazing career that y'all have had.
Mary-Kate and Ashley didn't just grow up. They disappeared, reinvented, and took over a different world altogether. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.